Hello everyone and welcome to our Divi feature update live, coming to you every Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern. But today is an exception because we're an hour late. That's because we had heavy snowfall over here where I am in the West Midlands in the UK. So that disrupted my program pretty much. So apologies if you waiting to see this live show an hour ago. So I really apologize for that. But anyway, today we have a massive announcement. We are now introducing color filters, effects and blend modes for all images, modules, rows, and sections. Now this is amazing because this is going to enhance our design capabilities inside the Divi Builder. So we can do all these changes. In fact, let me just show you over here what we have coming up. So we have a page where our designers were working with the latest features. So I'm just going to show you what that pretty much looks like. And then we're going to go in and recreate it. So here we can see that we have our blur effect applied to this image module and that image module to let the middle one stand out. And then over here, you can see the blending modes in action. Over here, we did something very interesting with the text. As you can see, we managed to have these colors, on these on the text. Over here, we've also managed to do this effect where we have our logo blending into this image. So all this can be achieved by our latest features that we have. Over here we can see the text is also blending in with the background image. You can see there on the mountains. And then over here we have all these different color effects. All this I'll be showing you step by step how to achieve this in today's tutorial. Here we can see we've added this sepia tone to this image. And then here, look at what capabilities that we have here on our filters. We can do all this in our brand new update. In order for you to do this, you need to have the latest Divi. So go ahead, update straight away, and you'll be able to get all these updates. Now, before I get started, I'd just like to say I just have a very bad cold, so if my voice sounds a bit different, I really apologize. I'm just trying to get over this cold. And also, I've been drinking a lot of lemon and honey, hoping that it would have cleared, but the cough is still there. So hopefully this will not affect our live stream today. Okay, so let's take a look here. I can see a lot of you have already tuned in. Wow, this is amazing. We have Valerie from France. Aram says good morning from Kurdistan. Danielle from Hungary. Awesome, awesome, awesome. This is amazing. Bello Mubarak from Nigeria. We have Mark Spence from Western Australia. Sebastian, I won't try to pronounce the surname, by the way, but Sebastian is from Poland. Thank you very much for tuning in. We have Steve, Sylvia. Awesome, awesome. Thanks a lot for tuning in. By the way, we are broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook. So let me take a look over here on Facebook. We also have Johan Linda from Thailand. Awesome, awesome. Abjid, hopefully I pronounced that well. Abjid from India. Tanya, hello from Corsica, I think. Never heard of that, actually. Never heard of that. But anyways. We have Marco from Roma, Italy. Martin from Southern-on-Sea. And he says, good morning, no snow in Southern-on-Sea. Yeah, actually yesterday the snow was really, there was a lot of snow yesterday. So we have Chomba from Brazil. Thank you very much for tuning in. Okay, I'm going to go in now and show you how we can recreate these effects over here. So I'm just going to go right here to the top. So this is the effect that we're going to try and recreate So I've already created a page which has pretty much the elements that we need. So I'm just going to switch over here and show you how to do that. Okay, so this is my page. And these are our elements without the effects added on. So what I'm going to do now is to go into these image modules and I'll show you where all these features are. So if I come over here on the module settings like that, if you click on design, you'll notice that there's a new entry here called filters. Okay, if you click it, you can see now this is where all the magic happens. So what we're going to do for this first example here is we are going to add some blur. So now as I move the slider, you can see if I go all the way, it's really aggressive and we can't see anything. But for now, we are just going to slide the slider a little bit just so that we have the middle one standing out. Now that this is blurred, one thing that we can also do is to reduce the brightness. So if I reduce the brightness like that, now this allows this middle one to really stand out. All right, so now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and save, and we're gonna do the same over here on this image module. So I'm gonna click the settings one more time, click on design, filters, and then I'm gonna come over here, add my blur. Now what I could do here is I could add as much blur as I want, but it's ideal that we keep this the same, okay? So I'm gonna reduce my brightness as well, like that. I think 60 will do. Okay, save. Okay, so just like that, we've managed to achieve this design. So this is ideal if you want to have something in the middle really stand out. So this could be text, it could be an image like in this case, but now we have the abilities to do this. So if you like this blur effect, can you show me by giving me a 1 in the comments? If not, you can just give me a 2, no problem. Okay, so go ahead and do that. If you like this feature, just give me a 1 in the comments. Or if you don't like it, just give me a 2. So let's see how you're receiving this. Okay, so that's the first example. So let's take a look here. So over here, I can see I have a lot of 1s. Wow. So we have Aram, Mark, Sebastian, Joris, Sylvia, Valerie, Tom, Sarah, Private. Okay, but these are all 1s. That's amazing. That is really amazing. I'm glad you like this too, because these are the type of features that you'd achieve in Photoshop. So you can imagine how much time we've cut off by applying this just in our Divi Builder. So to achieve this, no more Photoshop, and this is great. So I can see a lot of 1s here. Fantastic. Okay, so let's take a look over here on Facebook. Wow, on Facebook we have a lot of 1s and thumbs up. Right now my screen is going crazy with a lot of thumbs up. Thank you very much. I'm glad you love this feature because I really love it too. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Right, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to try and recreate this blend mode right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my page. So as you can see here, we've got nothing in the background. All I've added is just text. So I'm going to start off by adding a background image. So I'm going to click this section settings. Like that, click on background. And I am going to add my background image. So I'm going to click the third tab, click this plus button here to add my background image. And the image that we need is the mountain. So these are the mountains that we need here. I'm going to click upload an image. So now we can see that we have this mountain in the background. Now to make this effect really work, I've added this parallax effect. Okay, so we can leave this on CSS or we can leave it on true parallax. So I'm just going to leave it on true parallax like that. Okay, so for that, I'm going to click save. Now I'm going to go into my section and add a background image. So I'm going to come over here, click my third tab, click on the plus button, and this time I'm going to add this image right here. Click upload image. Right. So I've also, by the way, I've also added this parallax effect, and this time the method is CSS. So what I'm going to do now is, because this image here is now covering the background image that I added on the section, as you can see, we can really create a cool style. And by the way, I've also added this text right here. So this is just normal text. I'm just going to go in and just show you. This is just travel, explore the world. That's just the text module. That's all I've done there. So I'm just going to close this for now. So what I'm going to do here to really get our effect is to go into this section settings. Click on design. I'm going to come over here to filters. And then all the way down here, you can see now we have this new entry called blend mode. Right, so if I click on blend mode, I can now choose these different blend modes to get the effect that I need. So I'm going to click multiply. And straight away, by just changing this to multiply, you can see now that the image is now blending with the mountains, as you can see there. So I'm going to save this. And then now, if I scroll, you can see the parallax working. Isn't that cool? Right, so when I was able to do this, I was really amazed, because this kind of stuff is, like I said earlier on, is achievable using Photoshop. So now we can do this in the Divi Builder. If you're just joining us, this is the Divi Feature Update Live, coming to you every Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern. So this is the show where we cover all our latest Divi features in depth and show you how you can apply these features in your own designs. Okay, so if you have any questions, by the way, you can ask your questions and I'll do my best to answer them in the comments box. Okay, so I'm just going to check now if we have any questions. So I'm going to come over here. I can see a lot of ones again. Awesome. Thank you very much. I can see Emily Reynolds saying amazing. I can see a lot of one. Slave says, damn, that's way too easy. It will save a lot of time. I agree with you 100%. You know, I agree with you 100%. This is amazing. Right, so let's take a look here on Facebook and see if people... Wow, I can see a lot of ones again as well here on Facebook. Awesome. This is really good. A lot of thumbs up as well. As I mentioned, the screen is all filled up with thumbs up. Awesome. Okay. Right. So if, like I said, if you have any questions, I can see here. Okay, it's fine. If you have any questions, do ask your questions in the comments box below, and I will do my best to answer them. Okay, so why not move on to the next feature? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a look here and see what our next feature is. And okay, the text. Right, so we are going to try and achieve this. Now, when the design team made this, I was really interested just to reverse engineer and find out how they did this, because I had no idea that this could be achieved easily. And I will show you how easy it is to achieve this. Okay, so I'm going to come over here into my Divi Builder, and I'm going to show you how we managed to achieve that. Right, so over here, what I have is my text module. So before I go into my text module here, I'm just going to add a background gradient. So I'm going to come over here into my section settings, click on background, and then I am going to add a gradient. So I'm going to click my plus button. So I'm just going to go with this basic gradient. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and save that. Right, so over here now in my text module settings, I am going to start adding my text. Right, so I'm just going to start typing like that. Now, the reason why this is the text, the font is really condensed is because it is adjusted here in the design. So if I come over here to my heading text, we can see here our heading letter spacing is -9. So that's how I managed to do that. Okay, so it's on -9 like that. Okay, so now here's the fun part. You can actually change the colors of these letters by coming over here where we have this A and this line below the A. If you click this drop down, we can actually go in and start choosing our colors like that. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one like that. In fact, that's the same color. So I'm just going to go through this and add different colors. Okay. So I'm just adding random colors here. Okay, right, so now we have a really colorful text. Right. So what I'm going to do now is to save, and then I am going to go into my section settings, into my row settings, click on background. So in fact, I'm going to come over here to design. And then I'm going to come over here to filters. So now here on the blend mode, I am going to change this to overlay. Now we have this beautiful text just by changing my blend mode on the row settings, okay? But I mean, you can go in and play around with different ones. So you could try multiply, but definitely that's not going to work. Screen, that's not going to work either. Let's try darken. Oh, that's even worse. So you can just go ahead and just try and play around with these, but the best one I have found here is overlay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and save. Okay, so what do you think so far about what we can do with the overlay and how we can customize this text? Okay, I'm just going to check here and see if we have any questions. Tran says, I hope you'll make tutorial series that look like nice new demo page. Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of plans behind all our features, and there are quite a lot of series coming up with really good looking designs. Right, I have a question here from EFT Coach. The question is, I have in the section a background image and like to blur the image, but the text module in this section also blurs. Okay, yes, that's also what I tried. Now, what happens is, if you have an image in the as your section background image, everything on that section, if you try to blur the image, it blurs everything. So I'm not sure if this is something, if this is a bug, but I'll raise this with the developers and see if that is a bug. So I tried it as well, and that's what I got. So I am going to pass this information over to our developers and see if that's a bug. And I will also update here on the comments and let you know if this is a fixable thing. Awesome. Okay, let me see if we have any more questions. Mark Spence says, how come the travel is transparent and the paragraph text is white? Okay, let me just take a look at that. Mark, I've just had a look. No, the text, the paragraph text is not white. As you scroll through, you'll notice that the color will change as you scroll up. Now, this may look like it's white because the text is small, but definitely it's not white. I've just had a closer look at it. Yannis says, do you plan also to create a fine Divi dividers module? This will blow the design. Right, there are a lot of updates coming up. Of course, I cannot verify if this is one of them, but I can assure you that we have a lot of features lined up to really make the Divi Builder awesome. So a lot will be coming through. Adult Dating Co. says, how old is Hillary Clinton? I have no idea how old she is. So sorry, I can't help you with that. Let's take a look over here on Facebook and see if there's any more questions here on Facebook. I can see a lot of another amazing feature. Sven Jackson says cool. Anders says it's great. Awesome, awesome. Okay, right, so let's move on and let me show you the next item. Right, so let's take a look here and see what I can show you. Okay. Right, so over here, I'm going to show you how we managed to create this. So I'm going to come over here to my demo site. So to create this, we started off with the background image. In fact, I'll just show you how to add that quickly. So we started off with our background image. So I'm just going to come over here and add my background image, and this is the one. Upload an image. Okay, I'm going to save. And then over here on our section settings, if I come over here to design, in fact, we added a background color. So this is the color that we added. So you can add any color. So you can see now that I've removed the color, that it's made a big difference. So I'm just going to put my color back, and this is this green here. Okay, so now that we have that color, I'm going to come over here to design, filters. So in this blend mode here, we used exclusion. So if I go back here to normal, we can see that the color overpowers everything. But if we start using these blend modes, this is what brings the design to life. So I'm just going to go back to exclusion, and you can see now that this logo actually has this text transparent over here. So that's how you achieve that. I'm going to come over here, and in our filters, you can see here that everything is normal. So this is being applied because we applied the exclusion on the section. Okay. Right, so if you're just joining us, this is our Divi Feature Update Live, coming to you every Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern. This is the show that we try to cover all our latest features in depth and show you how you can apply these to your own designs. Today, we are talking about our introduction of color filters, effects, blend modes for all images, modules, rows, and sections. So this is a major update, which even I'm really excited to see. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Now this example here is quite interesting, and this is one of my favorite. We can apply pretty much a lot of changes to these images. So let me show you pretty much how we can achieve this. So what I'm going to do is, in fact, what I've done is I've just loaded these 4 images, and you can see here they're all the same. The reason why I've put them this way is I want to compare between them so that you can see from how we started to where we're going to end. Okay, so I'm just going to also duplicate this so we have more down here that we can design with. Okay, so let me just check and see if we have questions. So over here, I'm on Facebook. Okay, so I don't see any images here. Anyway, so let's move on to the next feature. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to apply some effects to these images. So I'm going to leave the first one as it is, and then I'm going to come over here to my image settings. Next, I'm going to click on design, filters. Right, so this is where we're going to start playing around with all these filters to achieve our design. So right now, all I'm doing is playing around with the hue. So you can see here, just by moving the slider, I have changed the color of that image. So this is how we started off, and this is where we are. Just by using this, you can actually go ahead and add the brightness if you wanted to, or even reduce it like that. So I think I'm just gonna, and by the way, you can click this little arrow here to reset everything. So you can also add some contrast if you wanted to. Right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave it as that. So that's one design that we could go with. Let's move on to the next one and let's see what I can do here, okay? And this is all on the fly, by the way. I'm just going in and playing around with these. With this. Right, so let's say we want to make this look like a black and white image. So to do that, all you have to do is to reduce the saturation all the way down to 0, like that. Now we have a black and white image. What you can even do is to also add the contrast. So you can see here as I'm adding the contrast, there I'm reducing it. Now I'm adding a bit of contrast. So by doing that, this really makes our image look much, much better. Right, so here we also have the brightness settings. So I'm just gonna keep this at 100%. So that's how you easily get a black and white image. So just reduce the saturation all the way down to 0. And then you can just do a few adjustments here. Now, on this next one, let me just save this for now. On this next one here, I'm going to add a sepia tone. So I'm going to go back into design, click on filters, and then as I've done before, I'm going to reduce the saturation all the way to 0. And then I am going to add the sepia tone. Look at that. Now, isn't that cool? Awesome. Right, and also here we have the brightness that we could play around with, but I'm just going to leave the brightness as this is. But I'm really happy that we can add the sepia tone to our image. Right, so this is how you pretty much can go in and make all these changes to your images. Now, if you like what you're seeing so far, again, please give me a thumbs up if you're on Facebook, or also a 1 if you're on YouTube Live. Okay, so I'm going to carry on and add some more effects to these images here on the bottom. So I'm going to come over here into my module settings. Right, so let me just take a look here. Wow, we're still getting a lot of 1s. This is awesome. Sylvia says 1 forever. Right, Tom says great features. Mark says Mark has a 1. Private has how many 1s are those? 2, 4, 6 1s. Awesome. Mark Spence says real-time saver. I've also got a thumbs up from JRGWXRXRXZ. Wow. Awesome. Okay, cool. Let me just check what's happening here on Facebook. Again here, I can see a lot of thumbs up and some hearts too. Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it. Right. So let's go in and add those filters. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on design, click on filters. Right, so here I'm going to do an invert. Look at that. So that's another feature that, another style that we can use on our images. So you can just invert the image and that's what we get. Now, you can also do something cool here by adjusting your hue if you wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it as it is. Right, so let's move on and do another one. So I've got 3 more to do, so I really have to be creative with this because I don't really want to recreate what I've already done here. Okay, so I'm going to go again into my section settings, click on design, filters. So here, I'm going to play around with the saturation and the hue. Right. So you can see here, just by playing with my hue and saturation, I've actually changed the way that image looks. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save this. Let's move on to the next one. Now here, I'm just going to use the blur effect. So I'm going to come over here to design, filters, and then I am just going to slide my blur like that, and I'm going to go ahead and save. Right, so all these different styles are all achievable by these new features. Okay, so let me try the last one. I'm going to come over here to design, filters. So oops. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to reduce the brightness like that. And also, by the way, we also have opacity. So you can play around with the opacity settings here. So if you drag this all the way down, you can see that our image completely disappears. But this is what you can also do if you want to add maybe some text on top of the image. So we have all these features. Okay. So look at that. This is all achievable using our latest updates. So if you're just joining us, this is the Divi Feature Update Live, coming to you every Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern. This is the live show where we cover in depth all our Divi Feature Updates and show you the possibilities that you have when it comes to designing your websites using our Divi Builder. Okay, so today our Divi Feature Update was the introduction of color filters, effects, blend modes for all images, modules, rows, and sections. And by the way, if you want to watch this right from the beginning, this is going to be saved on our YouTube channel and also on our Facebook channel. If you haven't bought Divi yet, I would suggest that you do so by going to elegantthemes.com. Now, if you want to read in depth about these features, I've also included a link in the show notes below where you can go and read more about this. So let me just take a look one more time and see if we have any questions. I'm still getting a lot of ones here. Bra says, it seems like you ain't gonna need Photoshop anymore to develop a website. So cool stuff. Yes, I agree. You know, majority, I would say 50% now of the time, we're not gonna use Photoshop because remember, we have our text effects. Now we have all these color filters, effects, and blend modes. These are the things that really make Photoshop strong. But I guess we may need to use it here and there to adjust to crop our images and to adjust our sizes. But the design itself can now be done just by loading the Divi Builder and just exploring all these endless possibilities. So it's really, really cool. Sylvia says it would be awesome if one of the next updates you could allow the user to add a hover state to the section module with these effects. That would be incredible. Right, Sylvia, this is if you watch the demo video on our YouTube channel by Nick, he announces that there's going to be some hover effects. So hopefully what you're saying here is what's going to be included, but that's going to be even awesome. So I'm really looking forward to that. David says great features. The filters work great, but can't make the blend modes work in extra. Now, I haven't tried this in extra. I am going to do that and see how that works. Okay. Piotr says, now spell my surname. It's quite long. No. I won't do that. Okay, cool. All right, so for everyone that is tuned in today, thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate that. And please tune in again next Monday, 6 a.m. Eastern. Hopefully there won't be any snow, so we are going to be right on time. So have a nice afternoon. Have a great afternoon. And I will be again live next Monday. Take care.